Hi, it's me again with Corel Tips and Tricks. And a customer sent this to a viewer and they want to make a vent screen out of it. There's really two ways you could make this star shape. I'm going to make it in both ways. I've already tried to play around with it a little bit. One way you could do is take a star, a six-sided star, and hit P, and then change it to a five-sided star. That way that five-sided star is in the center. Take your three-point curve line and go from that node to that node, and then hold down your control button, and that bar will become perfect. And because we're in the center of the screen, and there's no way you could do that to duplicate that line if you had to redraw it, we're going to set our nudge. Let's put in our indexing lines. And then let's rotate this line 60 degrees. Oh, 72 degrees. Control, I've already got it. No, I don't. Control D, move the center rotation to the center. 72 degrees. Control D, Control D, Control D. Then take away your star. Now, these are broken up lines, so I would take the Smart Fill tool and fill it in. And then I'm going to nudge it out of the way because I might still need it in the middle. I'm going to nudge it 15 inches out of the way. That way all the lines are now solid. Nudge that back and left click, right click, and go to Effects and Contour. And we're going to contour to the outside one time 1/4 of an inch. Not enough. Let's go, and let's use beveled corners, and let's go 1 inch. That gave you that shape. And you can see, and then instead of breaking it apart, I would just fill it in. And then I'm going to show you another way you could make it, if that seems a little difficult. Let's make a circle and an ellipse and hit P. Control D to make a duplicate, holding down the shift key so it'll grow from the inside out. Grab a 2-point line and hit P. Control D and duplicate it and rotate it. I don't really know if it's, let's just do, no, let's do 45 degrees. And then you don't have to do another one, just Control D to make a duplicate. Control D and make a duplicate and then mirror it. Then take your Smart Fill tool, and I'm going to use the bottom one. Whoop, my indexing lines, or there is a line there. Let's go ahead and take that line away. Take your Smart Fill tool, fill that in. Now, I don't really want to move it. I want to nudge it out of the way. I'm going to nudge it twice, and then I'm going to nudge it back, and then I'm going to hold down the control button and move it up to the top. Now, I don't know if I'm there yet, or if I'm far enough, but I'm going to left click, right click, and then we can take this one, Control D and make a duplicate, move the center rotation to the center, and rotate it at 72 degrees. So I'm not away from it enough yet. So I'm just going to hold down the control button again and move it. That way it's perpendicular. Control D, make a duplicate. Rotate it at 72 degrees. And that's really pretty good. Let's just leave it like that. Now hit Control D and run 144, Control D, Control D. Now we have some messed up corners, but not really. Let's just take it all and weld it. Now we still have some messed up corners, and you could have played around with that, but all we have to do is take these inner nodes and delete them. Now we got a little bit of curve there, but that might even end up helping us at the end. Because now we're going to take this one, and I'm just deleting, and I could make that a straight line. I'll show you on the last one. We could just take these two nodes and right click and turn them into a line. But that curve might even actually help us when we're drawing this. Now, my star is upside down, so I'm going to mirror it. I'm going to make it quite a bit smaller. And then when I was looking at this, all it is the stars are connected. And, you know, if you had to do a whole screen, you'd want to kind of do this. And I'm going to figure out the distance. I need to nudge it from that node to that node is 577. Change your nudge distance to 5.77. Control D and make a duplicate. And you can see our lines. Well, really, our lines aren't matched up good enough. These lines need to be on top. So we can take the, and see, that's what I say, that curve might actually help you. Nudge that up, and go ahead and cut this out. Because then when we nudge it again, twice, Control D, we only have to cut out that one line. That other line is already done. Now I've got a little bit of off, you know, I don't like that part right there, but good enough for the video. I'm just trying to help them get the idea. Now I would go ahead and smart fill this because you got a bunch of broken parts. And I know they don't want those colors, they just want an outline. We can delete these. We can control or left click, right click, get that outline. And then all this is they're touching each other. So what we can do is Control D and grab that node and move it over to that node. Now, I don't like that bump, but that's could be readily fixed. Matter of fact, you can fix that right now in just a second. So we're going to take all these parts, and you'd have to do this for the whole screen, but if you did it kind of one at a time, and then the next time you nudge it over, you won't have to cut that line again. Now I said we could get rid of that node or that bump, but we need to use the Smart Fill tool to fill that in. What the Smart Fill did is made a new object, and now they're all connected. And we could very easily get rid of that bump because they're connected. We could just grab that node and hit delete. Matter of fact, you could probably hit delete there. Didn't really change too much. So we could just delete all those nodes, just depending on the look they want. And if you look, it created that same pattern of whatever this shape is. Let's just fill it in so you can kind of see it. But that'll cut. So if we leave it like that and you did a multiple of those, and see, since you've already fixed that bump, now next time when you Control D and you move that over, that bump is going to be gone in all of them, and you only have to delete these lines. You'll have to delete the inner bump again, but if you just use the Smart Fill tool, it'll take, and the reason you can't do it now is if you do it now, it does that. So you have to use the Smart Fill tool to fill it in to get that new shape. That's a pretty neat pattern, almost like a star in a leaf. But then once you're done, you know, move your Smart Fill over, left click, no fill, right click, and make sure it's a hairline. And that will cut out. Now, to make a screen out of it, you'll have to put some sort of border, but that's relatively easy. Anyway, I hope that helped a little bit. Thank you for watching.